Okay, hello lovely people. This is another video from an early NaNoRenO. This one is from the second one, which was in 2006. So let's see, we had, I believe, 6 entries in the 2005 NaNoRenO. 2 of them I was unable to download at all, and 2 of them decided to stop working halfway through the game. So we had a total of 2 which worked. This year, in 2006 rather, there were a total of 5 entries because the international RenAi, I forgot the abbreviation, but it was a secondary thing that went along with NaNoRenO where they had more time to kind of create the game, but the deadline was still on the same day as NaNoRenO. So there were 2 entries into that and then 3 into NaNoRenO proper. I was unable to get any of the NaNoRenO games to download, but I was able to get both of the RenAi games to download. So hopefully they will work all the way through and we will have a fairly even year again. This one is called QUINE or QUINE, I am not sure, but I like the way QUINE sounds, so we'll go with that. In the year 2006, I joined the ranks of an elusive organization. I link the border on this text box. Our numbers are few, but our objectives are the same. To tell a heartwarming tale of love that cannot be found in this world. To bring interesting, linkable characters to life. To help ease the suffering of lonely individuals everywhere. I'm pretty sure this is an anime. I was not given that guy a voice that was his. I am Leon Humphrey, and I am a RenAi game maker. At least, that's what I want to be able to say. The problem is, I've never made a visual novel before. And that I am one of the lonely individuals the novels are targeted toward. There simply wasn't any time to work on one last semester. But now, it is summer break, and I have the entire summer to make one. Luckily, my parents will be out of town for business the entire time. If they were to ask me what I was doing, what would I have told them? That I was working on a romance game? So I have the entire summer to work on it without any distractions or embarrassment. Even if I don't finish before school starts again, I can always tie up the loose ends during the semester, right? Assuming that I complete most of the work over the summer, that is. If I even start working on it. Traditionally, there are 5 things that are required to make a visual novel. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. An engine to run the game, a script, character art, background art, and leadership. For the engine, I will be using a free engine called RenPy, which is it RenPy or RenP? I don't know. But that is actually the engine that most of the, at least early games, I don't know if the newer ones, I believe that they still are, I think that it is still around, but that is the engine that most of the games that I have been playing for this are on, so I guess shout out. Not only are additions made to it frequently, the creator is a nice guy who will be glad to help you out if you have any questions about it. It is definitely recommended for game-making hopefuls of all skill levels. The script will be written by me. The character art can also be done by me as a last resort. The background art can be obtained by filtering photographs, and no leadership will be necessary since I'll be working on this alone for the time being. However, it is good to keep in mind that it may be necessary to manage the people working alongside you. Regarding the script, a concept has already been decided upon. However, I don't know what kind of person the female lead should be. Nothing about her is fleshed out yet. Her name, her birthday, her likes and dislikes, aspirations. Nothing. Unfortunately, I'm not a very creative person. I need an inspiration of some sort to base her on, and there are 2 things that I can do at the moment. One option is to go out and conduct some field research. Oh, that sounds creepy. If I observed enough people, I can get an idea of what I want her to be like. On the other hand, I can continue with my life until I find the perfect girl for the role. That also sounds creepy. And by find, I mean wait until some sort of inspiration hits me. Dude, just watch an anime and take the main lead from that. Like, this is not hard if you're that strapped up on creativity. Or literally find a friend and ask if you can use their OC. There, done. Then again, I guess not being creative has never stopped, like, I probably shouldn't fucking dunk on AAA games, but I mean, being uncreative has never stopped anyone from trying to make a game before. Um, okay. Both of these options seem like they could go well or go very creepy. Because it's like people watching as an artist, I people watch all the time, and I know a lot of people who will just like, sketch out people in public settings and like they're not being weird about it. They're just trying to practice drawing. So, on one hand, that might not be creepy, but whenever a man says that they're doing that, it sounds creepy. Whenever a cis man says they're doing that, it sounds creepy. I probably shouldn't assume, but I'm going ahead and assuming. Find her. I'm going to find myself. It's decided. The best way to get the game done quickly is to take an active role in getting it done. If I take too long, my enthusiasm and momentum will dwindle in the later stages. Strike while the iron is hot, as they say. And I know a good place for this type of work. Lanford Cafe. The next morning, I wake to the sound of chirping birds, feeling cold yet oddly refreshed. That is the one thing I'll never get used to in this house, the abnormally low temperatures. Are your parents snowmen? No matter how many blankets I use or how high I set the thermostat the night before, I always wake up numbed by the cold. Or, this guy is dead. Whenever I asked my parents about it, they would always exchange knowing glances before replying that they never noticed it. Thanks a lot, Mom and Dad. With a small grunt, I roll off the bed and prepare for my outing. Soon, I find myself standing before the front door. Although I've traveled through it many times before, it seems to hold a particularly special meaning today. Sometimes I make up words. Beyond this door lies the future of my game. Whether that future is good or bad, it doesn't matter as long as I enjoy the process. And that is very true. You need to enjoy yourself, no matter what you do, what the outcome is. You just have to enjoy yourself. That is the most important part of anything. Do your best, self. I step into the hot and muggy world. Within seconds, I already find it hard to breathe in the thick, humid air. Typical of a summer day in this region. So why is your house freezing cold? How does that make... This doesn't need to be a romance game. This could be a murder mystery or a fantasy mystery of why your house is freezing. Of how your parents are vampire snowmen and you're one of the undead. On the hotter days, it would be foolish to try and get anywhere on foot. On a day like this, however, getting to the coffee shop should be doable. After strolling for a few uneventful blocks, I finally arrive at a cozy, homely building. Even though it is a small family-owned shop, it is frequented often by stragulars, that is, regulars and strangers, both at the same time. It is frequented often by regulars and strangers alike. I feel my mouth clicking a lot, and I'm very sorry. I enter the dimly lit establishment and immediately take my usual seat at the corner of the store. It seems that it isn't very busy today. Suddenly, a shadow is cast over the table. Welcome to the Lanford Cafe. Your order? Oh my gosh. Oh, this is another one with art that I unironically love because it literally does look just exactly like something that they tried to copy step by step out of that one how to draw manga book that even if you didn't have it, you knew about it. The one with the blue-haired anime kid on the cover, it looks exactly like that. Like the eye style, the hairstyle. It's so good. I unironically love this art because it is there's something that's like enthusiastic about it and it's great because like and in the in the first game that had that with like the 3/4 view, but it had the cheek kind of cut a little bit because it's like, oh, that's what people look like. They have definition in their cheeks sometimes, so they try to do that, and it doesn't quite look right, but they're trying so hard. I love it. I love it so much. I look up to find an unfamiliar face standing in front of my table. Puck, why do you have to do this literally every day? The first thing I notice about her is her eyes. Sharp eyes that can probably look straight into a person's core. Strange. Where's the owner's daughter, Ella? Normally she would be working here during the summers and weekends. Puck, you cannot drink my tea. Oi, part-timer, put a little more spirit into it. How annoying. It seems like this person's personality isn't very well suited for this type of work. Oh, mood. I'll have a mocha latte, please. As she scribbles down my order, she casts a brief glance over me. During that split second, I felt my hairs stand on end. She's a vampire, too. Puck, why do you have to knock everything down? It was as though she could see completely through me and was looking for a certain something. I involuntarily shudder. What an unpleasant experience. Not this one either. Your drink will arrive shortly. The waitress walks away, and Mr. Lanford, the owner, comes to the table. Hey, Leon, what are you doing? How are you doing? A grin immediately spreads across... Oh, I gave that guy the same voice as him. Oops. He had a different voice a second ago, but I don't remember what it is. I forget literally everything the second after it's done. A grin immediately spreads across my face. It almost can't be helped whenever I see the jolly, stout man. He's one of the few people who doesn't show any signs of discomfort around me. He's also a bit eccentric, though. For some reason, he wants all the regulars to call him Sir. That's a little weird. I'm all right, sir. How's Ella doing? He pauses and furrows his brow as if in deep thought. Ah, that girl. She suddenly decided to go on vacation with one of her friends instead of tending to the shop. Shirking her responsibilities like that? She must be at that age, huh? Well, she certainly is a beautiful young woman, and the way those types tend to... What? Someone... Okay. This is like... what was... It was on like a Wikipedia article for like She-Ra, and it had the heading personality, and then it was just like, in addition to being beautiful, beauty is not a personality trait. Your looks do not affect... I mean, they do affect how you act in a way, but... Like, I'm not gonna just go off on vacation because I'm beautiful. Like, no, you go on vacation because you want to. What the fuck? Without warning, he bursts into one of his jolly laughs right as the waitress returns. Your drink. After setting it down on the table, she walks away as abruptly as she came. Keep up the good work, Kikumi. From across the building, she sighs, resignedly, and continues her work. And a fine job you're doing, sir. The owner simply laughs again. Ha, Kikumi's filling in for Ella while she's gone. She's a good girl, works hard, stays out of trouble, but she could work on the way she handles people, if you know what I mean. Well, I guess I should go back to work before she scolds me again. See you, Leon. You mean the person that you hired is scolding you? Or, like... What? Later, sir. Kikumi. What an interesting person. For the next few hours, I sit and watch the occupants of Lanford Cafe while sipping on the mocha latte. The time I spent there was educational. I got to see all sorts of realistic behavior from all sorts of people, but much to my dismay, realistic was horribly mundane. During a particularly dead moment, Kikumi stopped by my table. Still here? Yeah, sorry, I haven't introduced myself. I'm Leon Humphrey. Fukaida, Wow, I'm already forgetting how to read. Kikumi. I haven't seen you around before. Are you from out of town? Yes. Geez, why is it so hard to talk to her? Probably because she doesn't want to talk to you, but that. Why is she here? How long are you going to be working here? Until I find what I'm looking for. Which is. Demons. Hearing her deadpan response made me involuntarily spew a mouthful of mocha onto the table. Just kidding. I love the little face change there. Pretty good. And for the next day, I continued going to the coffee shop every day to research people. By the end of the 7-day period, I concluded that a purely realistic character would be boring. But what would be a good mix between realistic and fantastic? I don't know why Puck is deciding to start yelling, because I literally gave them food and water shortly before starting, and he just wants attention, even though he gets attention all the time, all day and all night. Constant attention, and he still wants more. Again, I stepped outside to begin my usual trek to Lanford Cafe when it suddenly hit me. It's really hot outside today. Hotter than usual hot. Oh, mood. Within seconds, I can already feel beads of sweat forming on my forehead. This is definitely one of those hotter days where it would be foolish to try to get anywhere by foot. There's no way I can walk 4 blocks like this. Regardless of what I thought, my legs already started carrying me towards my destination. I walked to the end of the street, trying my best to stay within any shade near the sidewalk. As I round the corner, something suddenly bumps into me. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, she's definitely a demon. She is absolutely gonna be what's her face is looking for. She's gonna be a demon. It's gonna be great. In front of me stands a girl in a sweat-soaked summer dress and a wide-brimmed hat. Definitely not something you can find people wearing often nowadays. What? What do you mean? People wear stuff like this all the time. I constantly see people wearing things like this. Maybe I just hang around people who wear corsets regularly. The first thing that pops into my mind is, she's kind of cute, she looks pretty tired. I mean, I think she's cute. I think she's cuter than the other one, honestly. She's cute. And then it got weird. Her delicate-looking body, her chin-length hair, her milky skin. Milky. That is such a fucking weird... That is a weird way to describe someone, especially their skin. If someone ever described my skin as milky, I would punch them so hard with my fist. There's no doubt about it. She is definitely one of the cutest girls I've ever met. And her clothes, they suit her well. While simple, the dress and hat give her a sweet and innocent appearance that's hard to find in this day and age. Oh, that's weird. If only I could see more of her face. Is there something on my face? Crap, I didn't realize I've been staring at her for that long. Think fast. How would the main character of a NaNoRenO game answer? Probably in the stupidest way possible. If there's anything I've learned, they're all idiots. You look really cute in that dress. Nailed it. Why? Why did I just say that? She doesn't know who I am, and yet I go on and say lame things like that. I beg your pardon? She raises her head, and I am met by a pair of surprised, beautiful green eyes. Resisting the urge to stare, I sheepishly repeat my comment and brace myself for impact. Oh. The girl quickly lowers her gaze to the sidewalk, once again hiding her face beneath the brim of her hat. Thank you. After a few brief moments of awkward silence, she hesitantly steps forward. I need to get going. With those last words, the girl walks past me, her arm slightly brushing mine. I stare at the empty space she occupied just moments before. Is this for real? I turn around to take one last glance at the strange girl. She had a booty that would not quit. With each step, her balance becomes increasingly unstable, her body threatening to tip over at the slightest touch. Suddenly, her knees buckle and her legs collapse beneath her. She begins to fall forward. Immediately, my feet push off the sidewalk and I sprint down the street, arriving just in time to catch her from behind by the waist. Soft. Fucking weird. Hey, are you alright? Answer me. I know I put the word you in there, and I'm sure it was a typo that it wasn't. They get one. The girl only silently slumps against me. What should I do? Maybe I should call for help. Several meters ahead, I spot a classmate's mom crossing the street. Miss Tacita, I need your help. This girl collapsed all of a sudden, and, before I could finish, Miss Tacita casts a bewildered glance toward me and enters her house. Oh, come on, I know I have a bad reputation, but this is ridiculous. Now what? Now I should try to get her out of the sun. Ideally, I can bring her back to the house, but having a girl in the house when my parents are out. And then there's the matter of somehow getting her there. I take a deep breath and sweep an arm behind the crook of her legs to lift her into a bridal-style carry. Help me, Lady of Light, I can't carry 45 kilos. With a slight grunt, I use all of my strength to lift the girl. Surprisingly, gravity offered little resistance, and I soon find myself holding her above the ground with almost no effort. She feels surprisingly light, almost as though she were weightless. Without further delay, I bring her back to the house. Okay, I'm very bad at remembering conversion rates between kilos and pounds, but if I recall right-ish, I'm just kind of going on how, for some reason, in a lot of games, especially like older games, people will be like, at least women will be like, there was one Ninja Turtles game where April O'Neil is like not 4'8", is like 5'8", and she weighs 115 pounds, and it's like, that's super light. That is really, really light. That is how much I weighed at like 18, and I'm like 5'2". And people would always say that I looked underweight. So that's not a normal weight. So I'm just gonna assume that she probably does not weigh that much, and this guy is just a weakling, because they always are in these games. They're always weak little nerds. I set the girl down on the living room couch, supporting her head with the armrest. Thankfully, she's still alive and breathing. Maybe once she wakes up, I can get her a drink and ease her into a conversation. Who am I kidding? The first thing she'll probably do when she realizes that she's in an unfamiliar place is scream. Unable to endure the loud, high-pitched scream, I'll quickly cover her mouth to hush her. Then I'll awkwardly try to explain to her what happened outside. When I get to the part about carrying her back into the house, she'll slap me. Despite numerous reassurances that I didn't do anything bad to her, she continues to hit me. Perhaps she might even begin to cry. Of course, I won't be able to do anything else about it. Taking further action would make me look even worse than I already do. Finally, she'll run out the front door, and that will be the last I ever see of her. In any case, all I can do now is wait for her to wake up. Sitting and watching over her isn't an option. That'd actually be kinda creepy. Not to mention, doing so would reinforce the stereotype. Since I can't leave the girl in the house by herself, I go to my desk and try to work on the game some more. How are you working on a game where there's all of like 2 or 3 characters if you don't even have one character at all made? 10 minutes and my mind is still at a complete blank. Even after all this time, I have no idea what kind of a person the female lead should be. If all else fails, I could start with the stereotypical Renai character and work from there. Yeah, I'd say all else is failing right now. So, which one should I use? There are so many to choose from. There's the athletic jock type, the initially snobbish rich type, and then there's also the childhood friend type, the super intelligent nerd type. Perhaps it would be best to start with an entire list and eliminate the personality types that I definitely didn't want. Someone on an online message board for developing visual novels has kindly compiled a list and made it available for public use. Let's pull it up. Excuse me, could you tell me where I am? Aw, she is cute. Oh no, I forgot about my mouse being weird. I was hoping that the way I have the settings on, it wouldn't do that thing where it links to pop it over on the corner, but apparently it's just gonna do that all the time, and I don't know how to stop it. Startled, I quickly turn towards the source of the voice and find her standing at the doorway. My explanation. I have to tell her the entire story before she can get any wrong ideas. You see, you were walking away after we exchanged a few words, and then you suddenly passed out or something. So I caught you from behind and carried you back to my house. You don't have to specify where you caught her from. In fact, saying, I caught you from behind is kind of fucking weird. I didn't do anything funny to you. In fact, I didn't even touch you except to get you out of the sun. I'm sorry if you feel that I somehow violated you. Please don't hate me. Okay, so even if, you didn't do anything untoward, it's still a little weird to bring someone to your home. Like, you can just get her out of the shade and call an ambulance. That's what I feel like that's what most people would do, or living in the US, an ambulance is very expensive, so maybe they wouldn't call an ambulance, but they would just get her into the shade and then try to stay near her until she wakes up. Like, they wouldn't bring her to their home. That is where it gets weird, even if you don't do anything. That's still weird. But this is a visual novel, so they don't care. They're just gonna be like, oh, that was kind of you. The girl stands silently for a few seconds. Does she believe me? Now that I think about it, she might not have understood any of that rambling crap. Suddenly, she starts giggling. Oh, I love I love this. Like, the movements are so stiff, but they're so good. Light, sincere, unobtrusive. Its beautiful sound its beautiful sound is music to my ears. If possible, I'd like to continue to make her laugh so I can keep listening to it. I'm sorry, you spoke as though you wouldn't have a chance to explain yourself fully. Is she for real? It never really occurred to me that she could be so calm about this. I mean, she woke up finding herself staring at an unfamiliar ceiling. How could she not panic? It's definitely better than the alternative, though, for sure. Would you mind telling me what happened again? And I start to repeat my explanation, this time at a normal pace. So I caught you from behind and carried you back. Yeah! What the? But earlier she. Well, please calm down. I didn't do anything to you. It's not like I took advantage of the situation and purposefully felt you up or something. I'm sorry. It's just that no one has ever done that to me before. Please forgive my inexperience. What? How am I supposed to respond to a statement like that? Regardless, I can't just leave her standing there. Would you like something to drink? You must have been dehydrated to suddenly collapse outside like that. I would appreciate it. Please sit anywhere you want in the meantime. As I prepared a glass of water for her, I thought about the exchange we just had. What a strange girl. Her clothes, her behavior, her way of speaking, everything about her seems out of the ordinary. She would make an interesting character. It's not likely I'll ever see her again after today, so it shouldn't be a problem if I modeled a character after her, right? Also, I'd like to learn more about her. There's something about her that is intriguing to me. I return to the room and find her sitting on my bed, glancing at the various oddities strewn about the room. Wait a minute. A girl is on my bed. After shaking the impure thoughts from my head, I held the glass in front of her face. Oh, thank you very much. She quickly chugs down all of the water before I could even respond. Needless to say, she must have been really thirsty. If you know what I mean. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions? No, I wouldn't. By the way, I don't think I've introduced myself yet. My name is Leon Humphrey. I'm Solangel Shiero. And so we talked, or rather, I asked her questions and she answered hesitantly. Why is it in all things, like, whenever they're like, oh, there's a girl in my room, like, they instantly get weird. It's like, Did you not have like friends who were the opposite gender as you grew up? Because like it wouldn't be weird for them to be in your room then. Like you wouldn't think anything. So suddenly you become a teenager or a young adult. It sounds like he might be in college because he's saying that like he's home for the summer, but like classes semester. I don't know. So it's like this shouldn't be weird. Like you can just know people of whatever gender you're attracted to and not immediately think weird shit about them being in your home. Like, Jesus, it's so weird. Games are weird. It was difficult sometimes to keep the conversation going without sounding like an interrogator. After each question, she paused for a while, as if trying to scour through her entire being for an answer before bashfully giving a response. It almost seemed as though she wasn't used to talking about herself. However, her demure personality is part of what makes her attractive. When I bumped into her this morning, she had already been outside for a long time. She also had a tendency to pass out if she pushes herself too hard. Coupled with that kind of heat outside, I guess I was lucky to have met her when I did. She was also lucky to have passed out when she did, not that passing out was good or anything. To summarize, shy and frail or anemic. May I ask you a question? Sure, it's the least I could do after asking you so many. Why did you help me? Honestly, I don't know. Was it because I felt sorry for her? Was it because it was the right thing to do? Was it because letting a stranger hit the pavement is fucking weird? I guess really everything in the situation is weird, but it's like if someone starts to pass out, usually people fall backwards when they pass out, though. They don't usually fall forward. But anyway, like, bashing your face or the back of your head into pavement, not fun. So I feel like anyone, if they saw that starting to happen, they would try to help because, ow. Or maybe I was somehow drawn to her. I'm gonna go with because it was the right thing to do, because that's the less weird option. Whatever the reason, I just did it without thinking things through. What would the main character of a NaNoRenO game say to look cool? If you're looking for games to look cool, maybe a romance game that's usually made by nerds for nerds, where everyone in it is a nerd, is not the way to go. They don't know what cool is. They don't. Trust me. Because I don't know what cool is either. You don't need a reason to help people. I'm pretty sure that is like a good saying, but I'm pretty sure I can't think of what show it is, but I know that they do just like outright say that in some anime. Or maybe a game? I don't remember. Oh yeah, how is that? Truthfully, I do believe that you shouldn't need a reason to help people. Like, yeah, that is honest, but I know that they do outright say it in some show, and I can't think of what character or what show. And that was gonna bother me, especially after that incident. I see. I need to get going. Thank you for everything. Leaving already? I guess there wasn't a real reason for her to stay any longer. It'd be best if I accompanied her, just in case anything happens along the way. Where are you heading off to? I can walk you there if you'd like. The offer seems to take her by surprise. For the first time, she appears to be truly uncomfortable. I'm going to hell. I don't need any help. Nowhere. Anywhere. You see, I can't. She suddenly stops and lowers her gaze to the floor, shrinking away from me as if she wanted to disappear. Is she running away from something? Did she run away from home? I know how that feels, when really bad things happen and the urge to get away overwhelms you, especially if they are things out of your control. Putting in some physical distance doesn't solve the problem in the end, but at least it helps you feel better. Then you can face it when you're good and ready. I don't know what your reasons are, nor do I know what your situation is, but if you need a place to stay while you sort things out, Silangel, you're welcome to stay here. And hopefully my parents won't come home early. Why? Why are you helping me? You don't know who I am. There isn't a reason why you should help me. Yeah, you really shouldn't invite strangers into your home. Like, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't. No, don't. Not even the people I love were willing to help me. I've already told you, didn't I? You don't need a reason to help people.
Thank you. Please, if there's anything I can do to repay you, please let me know.
Not to sound like an opportunist, but I can already think of something for her to do. Stop being weird! It isn't perverted. I could ask her to help me create an interesting, believable character. After all, I have no idea how a girl would naturally act. Have you not known any women in your entire life? Like, do you know how they would act? The same way a guy would act. Like, literally, exactly the same. There you go. You just make a male character and then oops, they have tits now. Unless they don't. Some would say that I'm quite out of touch with reality, and I'd like it if my characters were realistic, to a certain degree. Then again, it would be pretty awkward to ask her to help me make characters for a romance story. Alternatively, I could just observe her and base the female lead off of her without her knowing. That wouldn't be weird at all. But doing that would be disrespectful and rude. Perhaps it would be best if I didn't involve her at all. And don't get strangers involved, that's weird. Yeah, getting her involved against her will is pretty rude and unreasonable. However, I won't let this discourage me from making any further progress. Enough time has already been lost.
Leon, would you mind if I used your shower?
Wait, what? I suppose this is something I should get used to since she'll be staying here for an indefinite amount of time. Hopefully, she won't think it's too dirty or something. Of course, it's a daily necessity after all. It's behind that door across the hall.
And do you have a change of clothes that I can borrow temporarily?
Well, I don't think Mom would be very happy if I lent a stranger her clothes.
Only one would be necessary when I'm washing my clothes.
Since she won't need to leave the house to clean her clothes, I quickly pull out a t-shirt and a pair of shorts from my dresser and offer them to her. Will these be enough?
Yes, thank you. Now if you'll excuse me.
She exits the room and enters the bathroom, closing the door silently behind her. Hearing the water running confirmed my uncertainties that another person will be living here. That made me start thinking, what can she do while she's here? The routine that I'm following isn't exactly the most exciting one, but I'm not necessarily obligated to entertain her for her entire stay either. I suppose that it would be best if she just did whatever she wished. It's not like she's forced to stay here or anything. The water shuts off. Maybe I should ask her what she wants to do. Aw, she's cute.
Can you tell me where the laundry room is?
Pants?
Oh, you see, they were a bit too loose. Please don't stare.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to look. I didn't mean to make you think I was looking. Soul Angel simply giggles as a response. Anyways, go down the stairs behind the door next to the bathroom. I think you can find it from there.
Thank you.
Not feeling in any particular mood to work, I glance at the clock. 7 o'clock? It is time. It is time for what? Oh, time to conduct some research. Quickly, I move to the living room and turn the TV on right when the opening theme of Aono Tsubasa started. It's a new romantic comedy anime series about a seemingly emotionless, reticent, and mild-mannered high schooler. A lot of girls at the school like him because he does nice things for them and helps them out in some way. However, it doesn't seem like he particularly feels anything towards them. He's simply somewhat chivalrous by nature. If there was someone that he liked, he's certainly making it hard to tell who it was. And things are starting to get messy when he involves himself in a quarrel between the captain of the football team and his childhood friend. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure. As much as I hate to admit it, I kinda like these types of shows, even though it adds to the stereotype. But those girls are so cute! Ahem, it would be pretty awkward if Soul Angel suddenly walks in on me watching a show like this, though. The half hour passes by without any problems. Who would have thought that the main character would agree to fight against the captain? I get up to prepare some dinner. I notice Soul Angel standing in the hallway. How long had she been standing there?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intrude.
I stand there trying to think of something to say to defend myself.
It was interesting. He seems like the type who will be fiercely loyal to the one he likes. It makes me wonder who the lucky girl will be.
Is this for real?
I'm sorry, I enjoy these types of stories. Kind of.
Really? That's great. I hope you don't think it's weird for a guy to watch that kind of stuff. She simply smiles as a response. By the way, what would you like for dinner?
Oh, anything is fine.
All right then, please wait in the living room. I'll leave it on the anime channel for you. After 20 minutes, I bring the food out to the living room. Noticing her eyeing it curiously, I hastily apologize. Sorry, there really isn't much other than instant foods and TV dinners. It's pretty expensive to eat out all the time, and I can't cook, so.
Oh, you don't need to apologize. I completely understand your reasoning.
Itadakimasu! We quickly begin to eat our portions. In a situation like this, it's hard to look at the other person without staring at them. So I should bide my time and casually check on her a bit later. Hey, Soul Angel? Seeing movement from the corner of my eye, I look up to find her rising from her seat.
Thank you for the meal.
She's done already? That's right. She said that she had been outside for a long time by the time I bumped into her. Would you like some more? I can prepare another one if you'd like.
Well, if you don't mind.
Minutes later, I bring out a second portion. Sorry, you must have been pretty hungry this entire time. I should have thought about getting you something earlier after hearing your story.
No, I should have said something if I wanted to eat.
We continue to eat in silence. Surely there's something we can talk about. Say, Silangel, are you from around this area?
Not quite.
You must have walked quite a distance then. The closest town is several miles away, if I recall correctly.
I was desperate.
Very excited dog outside. As though foreseeing what the next question would be, she quickly excuses herself.
I'm sorry, can I have some time alone?
Did I say something wrong?
You haven't done anything wrong, I just need time to think. And thank you for the meal.
And then she disappears down the hall. Eventually, I finish dinner and wash the plates left behind. Although she did say she wanted to be alone, I should probably check on her. I mean, she might be desperate enough to attempt to bring some physical harm herself. What? I'd be crushed if someone I knew did that. Why is that his first thought of what she might do? And my parents wouldn't be happy if a ghost was suddenly haunting our house. Slowly and stealthily, I slip down the hallway, scooting along with my back against a wall. Eventually, I begin to hear the heart-wrenching sound of muffled sobs coming from further down the hallway. Aww. I can't tell which room it's coming from, nor am I inclined to find out. She wants to be alone, and she doesn't seem to want to tell me about her problems. Even if I knew what the situation was, what could I do about it? As much as I want to help, this is something she has to deal with herself. Since there wasn't anything else for me to do, I spent the evening thinking about what to do with my heroin problem. I almost misread that, and I was about to throw the whole game away. Okay. Couldn't grab my laptop from the room, since Silangel might not be very pleased if I barged into the vicinity. You know, the room that is yours. Then it hit me. Perhaps I could start with an anime or video game character that I liked as a base and work from there. Oh, you mean the thing I suggested at the start? That would have prevented so much of this? And so I made a list of all the traits that I liked in my favorite characters. Before I knew it, I had my character for the game. That wasn't so bad. Why did it take so long for me to do something like this? Because you're stupid. Just like every other Renai character. They're all stupid. By the time I felt tired enough to go to sleep, it was already pitch dark outside. So I slowly felt my way back to my room, using my arms to probe the darkness. I didn't hear any signs of the girl at the end of the hallway this time. Since it's pretty late, it's likely that she fell asleep somewhere. I decided not to look for her. As the saying goes, let sleeping dogs lie. Not that she's a dog or anything. That, and I was also too tired to carry her anywhere if I did find her. I wake to the sound of chirping birds, feeling warm and slightly cramped. Wait a second. Warm? Maybe the thermostat actually worked for once. Anyways, I had the strangest dream about bringing a mysterious girl home with me. Got into a bunch of random, awkward, and embarrassing situations, and then a soft murmur behind me interrupts my thoughts, triggering the trickling bits of the previous day back into my head. Oh, crap. It wasn't a dream. I quickly jump out of bed right as Still Angel sits up and rubs her eyes. There's no way I can talk my way out of this one. All I can do is prepare for the highly deserved retribution.
Good morning. I'm sorry, was this your bed?
I bet the expression on my face is probably enough of an answer.
I'll sleep on the couch from now on. I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, no, you're the guest. I'll sleep on the couch instead. Really, I'm really sorry about this. By the way, were you awake when I accidentally...
Yes.
You should have shoved me off the bed or let me know you were there or something. Not that this was in your fault Not that this was in any way your fault at all.
It was cold, and your back was warm.
Silence fills the air. What can I say to dispel it? Then a stomach suddenly groans. Was it mine or hers? Care for some food? She nods, and we head to the living room. Once she's seated, I return to the pantry and prepare a wholesome meal of Wheatie Puffs and milk. Hitarakimasu! I dig in, devouring a few spoonfuls of the crunchy, tasty bits. A spew spoonfuls. I'm not drunk. It's just early. Not hearing any noise next to me, I glance up and catch her staring at me. She quickly looks down and slowly spoons a mouthful. Is this about this morning? How are you feeling?
Better than yesterday. There are still things to think about.
She spoons up another mouthful. And another. And another.
Tasty. What is this?
Wheatie Puffs.
Wheatie Puffs?
Yep, it's only the best cereal ever.
Cereal? I've never had such a thing for breakfast.
Is she serious? Really? Then what do you usually eat?
Ambrosia.
Mother
usually makes eggs, or pancakes, or French toast.
Lucky? I'm lucky if my mom even makes toast for breakfast.
I see. Is your mother a busy person?
Yeah, both my parents are working, so they're usually too tired after work to make anything. And so we began talking about our families. I told her stories about my slightly eccentric parents, while she briefly mentioned her stern yet loving ones. After a while, silence filled the air again. However, it felt distinctly different from the awkward, oppressive ones from before.
Would you mind if I made dinner tonight?
What? Do my ears deceive me? A handmade dinner? Made by a girl? Yes, please.
I'll try my best not to disappoint then.
I return to my room and boot up the laptop. Right now I have a set of basic character traits for the heroine. If I take time to add in more details, like her birthday, age, likes, and dislikes, then it will add a lot of depth to her character. After an hour of brainstorming and pondering, these were some of the characteristics that felt right. Her birthday is on February 29th, and she is 17 years old. Even though she tends to keep to herself and is rather introspective, she's actually rather polite when interacting with others. Despite her fragile and submissive appearance, she's actually free-spirited, preferring to rely solely on herself when she can. She's also a bit of a romantic dreamer. She likes love stories, kind people, ice cream, and sweets, and dislikes egoists, sour food, and being tied down. Now that I have a solid idea of what the female lead will be like, it's time to actually start on the script. How should I start this? It took staring at a blank text editor for half an hour to finally type a few opening lines down. Then, after every few new lines of text, I went back to check if what I wrote before was still coherent. I usually ended up changing a word or two here or there, only to change it to something else later. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Now that I think about it, I never really thought about what kind of story I wanted to tell, what kind of mood I wanted to convey. All I had were vague ideas and major plot points that I wanted to include. Maybe if I spent more time earlier thinking about specifics, then I wouldn't have this problem now. Eventually, I found a nice rhythm between writing new material and revisiting what I had already wrote. At this rate, I might get it done, slowly and steadily. Regardless, the heroine created was somehow perfect for the story. While working, I noticed Celangel passing by the room several times, briefly glancing inside each trip. It's like she wanted to know what I was doing, but lacked the courage to ask. On one of her passes, I call out, "You can come in if you like, there's no need to be shy." She slowly steps into the room. If I didn't know any better, I would think she only came in because I invited her in. She is a vampire. Or at least someone here is a vampire, but I imagine it's all of them. Is there something you want to know?
I was wondering what you've been working on so intently.
What should I tell her? It's too embarrassing to tell her I'm working on a NaNoRenO game. And I did decide not to get her involved in all this. Oh, it's a secret project.
I see. Good luck with it then.
She leaves, and I continue working. The afternoon flew by, and before I knew it, I still have the motivation to keep going. I stretch my arms, preparing to start again, when something icy cold is suddenly pressed against the side of my head.
Here.
Turning towards the table, I see a large cylindrical object right in front of my face. Thank you. I take the can of soda and quickly gulped it down its contents. That was refreshing. Then I notice Celangel is still standing close to the doorway. The expression on her face is just like the one she had yesterday whenever she tried to think of a good way to ask something. Is something wrong? You look like you have something to say.
It seems you've been working hard all day, and I wondered if you would like to step outside for a bit. With me.
This could be a problem. It took me a while to get into the zone where my time is used most effectively and efficiently. Leaving now would certainly break that rhythm, and it would take more precious time to get back into the groove. On the other hand, I can't just let Celangel go out by herself. That'd be pretty rude of me to do that, especially since she's the one asking me to accompany her. Besides, this would be my first time out with a girl. Maybe I can get some valuable experience from this as well. I feel like there's going to end up being like two different endings where we get our game done and everyone thinks that we're a weird recluse, or we get actual human connection. And you know what? You don't have to choose between getting your shit done and actual human connection. You can do both of those, but we're going to take a break. God damn it. How could I refuse such a tempting invitation? However, I can't sound overly eager about it. Gotta play cool. Sure, I need the break anyway.
You're really going to come with me? Thank you.
No problem. Could you wait in the living room while I get ready? I should probably change into something nicer than the usual shorts and t-shirt, but I don't want to overdress either. I remember Dad giving me some advice for situations like this. What was it again? If there ever comes a time when you need to dress to impress, remember this, son. Make sure your fly is zipped. Thanks, Dad. Thanks a lot, Dad. So I grab a button-up shirt, slip it over my t-shirt. Nice enough. And I check my fly before leaving. Even though it's like super hot out where you live, you're wearing a shirt over a shirt? Is there any place in particular you want to go?
Not particularly.
We strolled along the quiet street at a leisurely pace, enjoying the warm, cloudy day and slight breeze. Occasionally, we broke the silence with some small talk before lapsing into silence again. It seemed like every pedestrian that passed us by during those exchanges gave us strange looks. But it's all right. Simply walking side by side like this, I think it made taking this break worth it. Maybe I should treat her to something. Do you mind if we stop by somewhere on the way back?
No, I wouldn't.
So we turn and walk towards the coffee shop. A few minutes later, we arrive at our destination and step into the small, dimly lit establishment. We take a table towards the corner of the shop. Before she could reach her chair, I pull one out for her.
Oh, thank you.
Feel free to get anything you'd like, Celangel.
But...
Don't worry about it. Consider it as a way of thanking you for this nice outing. Around us, whispers fill the air. Around us, hushed whispers fill the air, and I can feel the burning stares of the occupants sweeping over us. Seriously, when will these people mind their own business?
I would like the strawberry lemonade.
Strawberry lemonade, huh?
Well, I like sweet things.
Soon enough, a familiar shadow is cast upon the table. Well, if it isn't the regular, the usual. Yes, and a strawberry lemonade, please. Kikumi gives Celangel a cursory glance as she writes down our order. Her piercing Her piercing gaze seems to linger upon her for a split second longer than necessary, and the poor girl looks like she wants to slink underneath the table. Interesting. Your drinks will arrive shortly. After she left, Celangel releases a sigh of relief. Are you alright? You're not looking too good.
Can we leave after we pay for our drinks?
Is something wrong?
That girl, something about her makes me feel uncomfortable.
I see what you mean. The first time I met her was pretty unnerving for me as well.
Is that so?
Yeah, her no-nonsense attitude and the constantly serious expression on her face makes her seem pretty scary. But I think she's a good person. To that remark, Celangel simply giggles. Shortly after, Kikumi returns with our drinks. Hey, I've got something I need to take care of, so I gotta go. Here's the money for the drinks. She shrugs and accepts it. Do as you please. I take both drinks and we head towards the exit. Right before I step out the door, Kikumi stops me. Humphrey, don't get too involved. Huh? What are you? But then again, it's probably too late by now. Without another word, she disappears into the deeper recesses of the shop. What was that about? What was she trying to warn me of? I leave the shop with her cryptic words still echoing in my head. After an uneventful walk, we make it back to the house, just in time for dinner.
If you don't mind, please wait in the living room.
And so I sit in the living room, watching TV to occupy my mind from thinking about what the food will possibly be like. In all of the anime I've seen, there are two types of outcomes to this type of situation. Either it will be so good that I say something stupid, like she would make a good wife, or it will be so bad that I want to die. Or, more likely, it will just be a meal, and you will say, wow, thank you, that was good. Please don't let it be the second case. Then, Celangel enters the living room, carrying 2 plates of pasta.
It's done. I hope that it's to your liking.
The plate is filled with a bed of neatly arranged bow-tie pasta, lightly covered with a layer of ground beef sauce. The sweet, aromatic smell of the tomato sauce wafts up from the plate, making my mouth water slightly in anticipation. I should make pasta. I haven't made pasta in a while. It certainly looks good, and it certainly smells good. There's only one test left. How does it feel? Itadakimasu! Slowly, I take a bite. This is really good. The noodles are considerably tenderer, and the flavor and thickness of the sauce are worlds better than the one made for the TV dinner.
How is it?
Really good. I can't believe I've been missing out on food like this my whole life. She giggles slightly and takes a seat.
Do you really think so? What a relief. This is the first time I've worked with a frozen meal. Using it as a base, I made some additions to it.
Face vault. What? Is that so? After a brief pause, the two of us burst out laughing. It was seriously the first time I've heard of someone trying to fix up a TV dinner to make it taste better. And I have a feeling she thinks my reaction was priceless. Honestly, doing things like that, I feel like is kind of standard at this point. Like, you kind of just take what's cheapest that you have and then you add stuff to it. Like, taking the plain ramen and just adding some veggies and meat and eggs to it. It's super common. Like, half the time I don't even use the little flavor packet because I just make my own. It's not that hard. It shouldn't be a revolutionary thing. After we finished eating, I washed the dishes, and despite Celangel offering to do them for me. What? You know she had to do it to him. It was the least I could do since she prepared dinner. For the rest of the evening, I sat at my desk and continued working on the script. Occasionally, she would pass by and peek into the room. Suddenly, a tap on my shoulder breaks my concentration.
Leon? It's getting late, and...
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me save real quick. I quickly save my work and shut down the laptop. Sorry for the delay. I'll get going now.
It's all right. Good night, and sweet dreams.
Good night. Hours later, I still lay on the couch, unable to fall asleep. It's pitch dark since there are no streetlights near the living room window, and the house's oppressive cold easily seeps through the blankets. Suddenly, I hear the soft sound of feet padding the carpet, and I strain to listen for further signs of an unexpected visitor. What's wrong? Can't sleep? I hear the chair next to mine squeaking gently from the weight of a body.
No. I'm here to steal your soul.
For a few minutes, we sit in a near-dead silence, a silence broken only by the steady ticking of my watch. You wear your watch to sleep? I'm still not sure how to smoothly start a conversation with her in situations like this. Oh well, it's only been 2 days since we met.
How is your project progressing?
It's going. I think I can finish it eventually. More silence. That is a pretty weird thing to come out here and talk about to ask. Are you cold over there?
Yes.
I give her my blankets. No point in trying to stay warm if I'm not going to sleep.
Oh, I can't take these. You'll be cold.
I'm fine. I only need them if I'm trying to sleep. The cushions on the other chair rise.
Please move aside.
Right as I sit up, a body plops down beside me, leaning back against mine. A couple blankets also land on my lap.
Now we can both be warm.
Thanks. All of a sudden, my body begins to tremble, and I try to stifle it before it becomes noticeable. What is this strange sensation? Why do I feel so nervous? Anyhow, I appreciate the gesture, but it'll be pretty awkward trying to fall asleep like this. I wake up in an upright position to the sound of chirping birds, feeling slightly warm and cramped. I lean back slightly and extend my arms toward the ceiling for a stretch. Hey, are you awake? Hearing no response, I lean back further to nudge her, and fall squarely onto my back. How did she get up without me noticing if we slept back to back? Did she lean against me more than I against her, though? Yeah, that must be it. However, an uneasy feeling settles into my stomach. I got up and began to search the house for her. The first place I checked was my room. Carefully, I cracked the door open and peeked inside. No one there. It was the same way with the kitchen, the basement, the laundry room, the bathroom. No sign of her. With each empty room, the uneasiness grew. Where could she be? Did she step outside for a bit? When will she be coming back? Somewhere deep down, I already knew the answer. I walked back to the living room and plopped myself onto a couch. That was when I noticed it, a piece of paper folded neatly into thirds, sitting on top of one of the tables. Slowly, I opened it.
Dear Leon, thank you for your hospitality during these past 2 days. These brief moments here were a lady-sent respite from a harsh reality that I must eventually face. And I have you to thank for this restful recuperation. You provided me with food, shelter, and company, 3 seemingly simple things that mean the world to a person in need. Once again, thank you, and farewell. P.S. Good luck with finishing your project.
So Angel's really gone, huh? Even though we've only known each other for a couple of days, she surely will be missed. There's no point in sitting around and moping about it, so what should I do now? In my mind, there was only one thing to do. I went back to my room with letter in hand, taking a cold one from the fridge along the way, and booted up my laptop. I poured the soda all over my fridge, or my computer. For those of you wondering how the game is progressing since the Soul Angel incident, I've been kinda working on it on and off. While I don't have the drive to work on it constantly, I haven't given up on it either. Especially since a lot of my hopes are riding on this first game. In fact, I'm still working on the script at the same rate as during that time in the summer. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Slowly but steadily. At this rate, I'll finish it eventually. Well then. For For those who are interested in finding more materials for getting started on a game, open up your web browsers. First off, there's the RenPy engine that this VN runs on and is available at, and there you go, I'm not going to say a URL out loud because that's weird. As Leon mentioned, it's a free engine with constantly updated content and awesome tech support from the creator. Next, Blue Lemma has several good tips for game making at that one. While Leon didn't elaborate on these vital things very much, it is important to keep these things in mind while working. Finally, the Renai Game Development Corner is a fine site with tutorials on RenPy and other game-making related articles. It also contains a list of stereotypes that Leon refers to. Questions, comments, stop by Lemmasoft forums and post in the completed Renai Games section. The forums are also a great place to meet other aspiring game makers as well. Well, good luck and thanks for playing. Aw. Okay, that was nice. And apparently you can get an ending where she stays, I guess? Maybe something with the other chick. That was cute. That was short. It was very nice.